And I just want to welcome you to your practice today and to today's body and all that is present for you. Make sure to just honor that as you move and breathe and explore different postures, and we flow and hold things, just kind of noticing what's present and kind of embodying the class title, which is be here now, as much as you can be here. Anytime you notice yourself in conditioning or dialogue or somewhere else or in this place of just naming, all the time we're naming, instead just sort of be with sensation if you can, or if you will, and something that brings you back into the moment. And we'll do that right away through some breath, either seated on your block or cross-legged. I'm just sitting Vajrasana on the shins. And just take a few breaths. You guys hear me okay? Yeah. I have my windows open to get some fresh air, so if it becomes problematic, I can shut them. Now, always feel free to chat box me if you need something, and I will check that really quick. No, nothing in the chat box. Okay. Find a seat. You can rest your hands somewhere comfortable in your lap. Lift the upper sternum and allow the shoulder blades just to soften down the back. You feel that your spine is nice and tall and the elbows get heavy. And you can just take a couple of big breaths just to get here. So now we've moved and shifted and we're settling in. And you might direct your mind even more to kind of do some alternate nostril breathing, but without using the hands or anything, just kind of directing your mind. And we'll breathe in through the left nostril. So just kind of sending your attention to that. When you breathe out, just imagine you're able to control your breathing out through the right nostril. And then inhale through the right. And then exhale through the left. So your pace, inhale through the left. Exhale through the right. Inhale right. Exhale left. So you can keep going like that. Inhale left when you're ready. Exhale right. Inhale right. If you want to keep doing that, a couple more perhaps, eventually just coming back to whatever is just a normal rhythmic breathing pattern that you can kind of feel coming in through both nostrils. Noticing your connection to the ground, noticing your connection to this time and place, and to the people that are here with us as we gather. We're gonna go ahead and free the legs out from under, so however you're seated, find your way onto your sitting bones with your knees bent out in front of you. And you can place your hands behind you if you're imagining that you were gonna come into upward facing table. So maybe the fingers are facing your glutes or just slightly turned out a little bit. And then draw your knees in towards your chest, picking up the feet, okay? Wrap your elbows in and behind you and lift the back of the heart into the front of the heart. Get the heart to lift, the chest to lift, the breastbone to lift. Keep the elbows bent. Inhale, straighten the legs and lower the back body down just a little bit. And then come back up. Exhale. And inhale, open up. Exhale, come up. And just keep flowing like this. Attune to the breath. Just awakening through your core, through your hip flexors, and even through like the ball mounds of your feet. You're kind of, every time you lower and open up, you're kind of pushing through the ball mounds of your feet and fanning the toes. And you can feel the elbows are wrapped in behind you and you're kind of pushing yourself up and down. Let's do 5 more. And then when you release, you can make sure you have plenty of room to lay down onto your back. Lay down onto your back and just right away take your legs up into the air. Kind of drive through the heels, find the hamstrings a little bit. Take a few breaths that kind of connect you with being on your back body. And then we'll start to open the legs. So as wide as they'll go, just let them open out to the sides. And you can either interlace your hands behind your head to support your neck and head, or you can reach the arms through the legs. Now you awaken through the core a little bit more. There's just the slightest tuck of the tailbone. Stabilize through your legs and pelvis and start to lift and lower. Exhaling as you come up, inhaling as you lower down. So breathe, connect with the breath. Lift and lower. Drive through the heels, awaken through the inner thighs. It's okay to have a little bend in the knees if it's kind of more, feels like your legs are a little bit more like happy baby, that's fine. Early. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. When you bring your legs back together, cross the right leg up and over your left. And like you're gonna do cow face pose, but on your back. So the knees will bend, and you can bring your hands onto the knees, and maybe they trace down the shin bones until you can either get to the ankles or maybe the outer edges of your feet. Gomukhasana from the back body, so Supta. And you can gently pull down. If this feels like too much to be crossing at the thigh bones, then you can cross instead at the shin bones and pull down from there, okay? So either crossing your thigh bones and pulling the ankle bones towards the ground, or you cross over the shins. Okay, let the belly soften into the lower back and just feeling the navel kind of collapse in. Resting, exerting and then resting. And then send the legs back up. Let the legs part again, nice and wide. Maybe there's a little more space this time. Either hands behind the head or through the thighs, and start your pulsing. A little bit of a tuck of the tailbone. Maybe you even feel a little bit of that tuck happening as you lift the chest up. Good, you guys. Soften your jaw. Notice if you're death gripping your teeth. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring the legs together. The other leg on top. So I'm going to go with my left leg on top. And then bend the knees and kind of cow face pose, holding on to either the shins or the ankles or the outer edges of the feet. Maybe you're crossing at the thigh bones or maybe you're crossing at the shins or ankles, okay? So you kind of find where that works best. You can look up here right now, I'm crossing at the thighs. Here I'm crossing at the shin bones. Just giving yourself an access point. And then take the legs straight up. And then hug your knees into the chest. We'll rock up to a seated position and then into a tabletop on hands and knees. And then just slide back into child's pose for a moment. So your hips descend down towards your heels. Your arms are outstretched in front of you. And then you're gonna start to walk them off to the right side. So just keep your hips heavy, walk your arms to the right, and then land your left hand on top of your right one. So you get a nice stretch along that whole left side body. And once you get there, if you've lifted your head up, see if you can thread it through that needle hole of your upper arms and just let the head fall. Push down actively through the hands and let the hips get heavy. So you might feel a little bit of engagement through your belly as you send the hips lower and also push down through the hands. Ease your jaw again and then start to walk the hands back towards center. Maybe you rest for a moment at center, just neutralizing. And then take the hands up to the left side, right hand on top of left. Get heavy in the hips, thread the head through that needle hole, that little slit that you have for your head to come through the upper arm bones, and let hips get really heavy. Push down through the hands. Pull the belly in. And then walk the hands back to center. Inhale to a table position, and as you exhale, come to downward facing dog. And once you arrive in downward facing dog, just take your right leg all the way up to the sky. And then bend that knee and fold open into scorpion, where your right heel kind of falls towards your left sitting bone. You can start to stack the right hip on top of the left and really peel open looking under your right armpit. And then take the right leg straight up and back again, level off the hips. A full inhale. As you exhale, step your right foot forward in between your hands. And just pause as you dip the hips and lift your heart. And then ground the palms again and step back to downward facing dog. Just feel down dog, hip creases lifting up and back. And then take the left leg all the way up. Left leg all the way up and back, big breath in. As you breathe out, you can bend the knee, let the heel fall towards the sitting bone, peel open, stacking, looking beyond your left armpit. And then the leg goes high as you level the hips. Full inhale, step your left foot forward. So feeling the core engage, and you have to work through the hip flexors to step the foot forward. We're gonna use that. And then dip your hips as you lift your heart. Big breath. And then downward facing dog. So go ahead and step back. Now plank pose, breathe in, and child's pose, breathe out. So your knees can go wide, your hips settle to your heels, and your arms are outstretched in front of you. We'll build a little flow. If you decide you need blocks, you can always bring them in. When you feel ready, listen, drag your hands back towards your knees and take a full inhale. So you're just pulling, almost like you're pulling the mat towards you, and even letting the hands drag along your thighs as you come up. Set the hands behind you as you exhale. This is where there might be a need for blocks back there if you can't reach the ground very easily and lift your hips. I'm staying on my finger pads. Just push down through the shin bones and knees and lift your hips up. Lift the back of the heart into the front of the heart and open the throat, look up. As you exhale, go ahead and set your hips back down and walk the hands forward into table pose. Now step your right foot forward and come to Anjaneyasana. So step the right foot forward, come onto the finger pads or bring blocks under your hands, and then arms go up. Full inhale breath. Exhale, the hands come back down and you step to downward facing dog. So find the hip flexors, step back, you gotta work it, plank pose, or sorry, down dog. And then come forward to plank. I was just getting ahead of myself. And as you exhale, child's pose. So hips back to heels and the arms outstretched, rest yourself back. And then we're gonna do that again. So when you're ready, drag your hands towards your knees, start to lift the torso, come all the way up. Hands can drag right across the thighs. As you exhale, set the hands behind you, find stability and settle for a moment. And then start to lift the hips as you lift the back of the heart into the front of the heart and look up. And as you exhale, set the hips down and crawl back, table pose. Then left foot forward, Anjaneyasana. So step and rise the arms. Here's downward facing dog. We'll set the hands down, tuck the back toes, and downward dog. Now pull forward, plank, inhale. Child's pose as you exhale, settle back. Take a couple of breaths. Eventually we're gonna start to just move a little bit with this on our own. So just so you have it kind of settled in your body, when you're ready, drag your hands back towards your knees, lift the torso and inhale. Exhale the hands behind you, settle back, find the ground under your shin bones, and then lift up as you push down, hips rise, heart rises. Exhale, set it down, crawl forward, table pose, right foot forward, Anjaneyasana, inhale. Exhale is downward facing dog. Plank pose, pull forward mindfully. Child's pose, exhale. When you feel ready, you're dragging the hands back, inhaling, lifting the torso. You might be just moving one breath, one movement. Exhale, the hands settle behind you. Find the ground and then push away. Inhale, hips lift, heart lifts. Exhale, it's table pose. So crawl forward, hands ground. Left foot forward, Anjaneyasana. Inhalation. Exhalation is to Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Pull forward, plank pose, breathe in. Settle back, child's pose. Finding the earth and finding this space. When you feel ready, you can keep flowing with that. Inhaling to come up. Exhaling the hands behind you. Find the ground to push off. Inhaling. Exhaling, table. Anjaneyasana, right foot forward. Inhale, arms up. And then we go Adho Mukha Svanasana. Down dog, plank, inhale. And the child's pose. Your rhythm, inhale. If you want to look up here and follow me, you can. Otherwise, just go on your own. We'll go one more time once you meet back with child's pose. Plank turns back into child's pose, and then you go again. Breathe and move. If something doesn't work, just omit it, add something else. It could literally be child's pose to table to down dog. You don't have to do all this if it's not feeling right on your body. Trust, listen. On the left side, last one. How fluid can you move? How fluidly can the motions merge together and the breaths merge together? It's being so mindful, so present. Meeting in child's pose for a moment to just settle back. And then pull yourself, whenever you feel ready, into a table position. And then we'll set up for plank pose. Center of the wrist under center of the shoulder. Step back about hips width apart. Okay, so finding the ball mounts of the feet and really pushing off through the hands, dragging the heels back, collarbones and sternum forward. And just the head in its most neutral place over the spine, in front of the spine. So now let your heels fall to the right. So you begin to find yourself on the knife edges of your feet. Knife edge, outer knife edge of right foot, inner knife edge of left foot. And then start to lift your hips up like you're going to down dog and walk the hands back as far as they'll let you go. Lift your hips up. Stay on the knife edges of your feet. Push off through the hands. And then walk it back to a plank. Come back to the ball mounds of your feet. Hold for a moment in plank. And then roll to the knife edges, heels to the left. Stay in this plank, really push off. Drive through the heels and then walk the hands back, lifting your hips up. Hip creases up and back. Hello to the IT bands, the hamstrings. And then start to come back forward. You're in plank on the ball mounds. You can lower halfway or to the belly. And take up dog or cobra. And then downward facing dog. And then breathe in, bend your knees, look forward. As you breathe out, either walk or hop up to the top of the mat. And create halfway lift as you lengthen out. And fold forward as you exhale. And then rise all the way to Urdhva Hastasana, arms over the head. Reaching through the fingertips as you exhale. Just take the arms wide and down until they meet behind the back. Interlace all 10 fingers. We'll drag the knuckles down and start to bring the fist that is your two hands merged right now off to the left side waistline, just hooking in there. So I've got my back to you so you can kind of see that. And once you have that, let your left ear fall towards your left shoulder. Can you soften the shoulder blades down, smile and open the collarbones? Just breathe into the right side of your neck. Let the head come back up over the spine. Bring the bind of the hands down behind the sacrum. Unwind and rebind the hands the other way with the other thumb on top. Drag the knuckles down as you lift the heart, and then hook the fist that is your two hands over to the right side waistline. Okay, shoulder blades down, heads of shoulders back, collarbones fanning and smiling. Let your right ear fall towards your right shoulder. And then the head comes back up. Keep the bind of the hands, but just drag the knuckles down behind the sacrum. Now open the heart, fill up, and even look up, lift your chin, and then with the bind, bow forward into a fold. Release the bind, take halfway lift. Flow through your own vinyasa, chaturanga dandasana. So plank pose can be halfway down or to the belly. Good, Celeste. Up dog or cobra, your open heart, beautiful. Holly, meeting back in down dog. And then start your namaskar A. So inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, walk or hop to the top. Create halfway lift, lengthen out. Fold forward, hang your head. All the way to standing, fill up, reach up. Meet the hands in front of the heart and just almost resetting. Then the arms go up, fill up. And fold forward. Halfway lift, inhale. A vinyasa that gets you back to downward facing dog. Plank halfway down or belly down for up dog and cobra variations, and then down dog. And then breathe in, bend the knees, look forward. Do it again. Exhale, top of the mat. Lengthen out. Fold in. As tall as you've ever been, grounding through the feet, but reaching through the fingertips and the crown, and then meet the hands in front of the heart. Then arms rise, fill up. Just letting it be an investigation. Forward fold when you're ready. Exhaling all the way down, hang your head. Halfway lift, belly meeting back body. And then chaturanga dandasana. Good. Awesome, you guys. Beautiful. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Let yourself breathe here. Notice the things that are occurring for you. Maybe the hands feel like they're slipping a little bit. Maybe you notice that you're wincing, the eyes, all around the eyes. Can bring you a sense of stability and also softness. Take a huge inhale. Open the mouth, exhale. And then take your right leg all the way up and back. Take a big breath in. As you breathe out, step your right foot forward in between your hands. Take a moment just to pause there. I want you to visualize a seated twist, Ardha Matsyendrasana. We'll build it together, but that's where we're going. Your left knee is going to tuck in and behind your right ankle. So as you're ready, go ahead and set the left knee down, kind of to the outer part of that right ankle, and then have a seat. So you just kind of fall back. You can tuck your right ankle a little further around the left knee if you wish. We're twisting to the right. So bring your right hand behind you and inhale your left arm up. As you exhale, you can hook the elbow or hug and rotate to your right. Soften your right shoulder blade down, pull the belly in, get some reflection from the ground. Maybe it's just your left sitting bone, maybe it's both. Kind of push off as you lift the spine. From this place, we're going to move to Baddha Konasana. So we're turning to the right. I want you to take a big breath in. And as you breathe out, your right sole of the foot is going to meet the left one. So you unwind the twist and come into Baddha Konasana, facing off towards the right edge of the mat. So we're gonna do some funky stuff just to stay right here. It's kind of the essence of the class is, you know, not getting so lulled into our normalcy that we forget to even be present with it. So now your 2 feet are meeting. Inhale, both arms up. And as you exhale, just kind of bow forward over as much as you can, right? As much as the body's gonna let you today. I'm kind of swaying side to side. It feels good into the lower back. So kind of find what feels good to you. We're going to a seated twist at the back of the mat. So I want you to start to come up with the torso. The left ankle is going to meet outside the right knee. So you're turning to the right again. Pivot around, set your left ankle outside of your right knee. Doesn't matter if you're perfectly square, we'll figure that out later. You're twisting this time to the left. So set your left hand behind you and take your right arm to the sky. Full inhale, pull the belly in, get the reverb, and then hook the elbow or hug hugging that knee and rotate to your left. Can you lift from the upper palate of your mouth? Can you feel it kind of pulling the spine upright? Still softening your left shoulder blade down, looking over your left shoulder. Know that we're moving from here into a standing split, okay? So your left leg is gonna be your base. You can start to turn towards the back of your mat, unwinding your binds. And how stable and fluid can you be in extending the right leg all the way up over the head and moving into a standing split. Take a full inhale breath as you exhale, let your right foot meet your left and bow in. And then sit back into Utkatasana. Okay, so bend your knees, start to come upright, take the arms over the head. And then bind your hands behind your back. So like we did before, find all 10 fingers dragging down and then hook the fist that is your 2 hands now behind your back over to the left side waistline. Sit a little bit lower and almost like your right forearm could kind of lift the ribs a little bit away from your hips that are getting heavy towards the earth. Start to let your left ear fall towards your left shoulder. You're kind of winging the arms back behind you, softening the shoulder blades down, lifting the upper sternum, and then see if you can set your gaze and lift your heel bones up. So you might still keep your head falling to the left, squeeze through inner thighs, lift your heels up, and just balance on your ball mounds. If you can, you might sit a little bit deeper, kind of off kilter with the head to the side, and then settle the head back over the spine, set the heels down, but keep your hands bound as they are, and stand up with your right knee forward. Then extend the leg out if you can. Take a big breath in. As you breathe out, we're going to step it back. Warrior one legs with the spine of the hands. So step your right foot back. You're still oriented with the hips and torso squared towards the back edge of your mat. And you still have this bind of the hands off to the left side waistline. So warrior one legs. Really get deep into that. And then as you lift the upper sternum, as you get a sense of trying to take the lower arm bone and lift the ribs up, let your left ear fall towards your left shoulder again. Collarbones fanning, shoulder blades down, heads of the shoulders parting, wing the elbows. Keep the bind of the hands, bring the head back up. Take an inhale, and just the legs open out to warrior two. So you're keeping the bind still. Warrior two, the legs. Now you're more oriented with the hips towards the right edge of your mat. Okay, and then see if you can use your left hand to pull your right hand a little further deeper into the waistline, and then set your right hand into the left side inner thigh. So you get that half bind. If that's way too much, you can hold on to your pant leg. Okay, you could just drape it into the small of the back. But now you're freeing that left arm, and it's going to reach straight up. Okay, like it's a half of a mountain pose arm or an upward salute arm. Palms turned in towards the midline. A little bit of a bump of your right hip into your left. Okay, so you feel your hip points maybe level off a little bit. And really reach straight up with your left fingertips. Take an inhale. Everything stays the same, but upper body, extended side angle. So your left arm's going to reach forward. You're just tilting that whole structure forward. Roll your right shoulder down, really lengthen through the left fingertips. Pause here. Can you look up towards your ceiling or the clouds or the blue sky, wherever you are? Keep the legs the same. As you're ready, start to reverse warrior with this half bind. And then I want you to try to straighten your forward leg. Maybe the bind, you start to lose it a little bit. Pull your left toes towards your left shin bone and really reach back. Take a big breath in. Triangle pose is coming. You might keep the bind. I'm going to bring my left foot down and kind of tiptoe my right foot in a little shorter stance. Left arm goes first forward and then down. If you still have the bind, you can tuck it in a little tighter again. Roll your right shoulder down and back and maybe look up again. And make sure you're breathing. Now listen, my left hand is down, my right hand is still bound. I'm going to free it. First take it up and then I'm reaching it over my head. So I'm kind of giving that right arm a little freedom to reach over the head. So it's reaching towards the top, what is now the top of my mat. Towards my left toes. And then look towards the ground. Imagine that inside your left ankle it's like water. And you're going to let your right hand fall to caress the top of the water. Just drape it down. Turn your left toes in. Now we're going to the top of the mat. So I want you to turn top of the mat, warrior one now. You good? Okay. Arms up. And then your right hand is going to come to the upper back. Okay, so bend your right elbow, it's half cow face. You could take it into full cow face. Bringing the left fingertips around to maybe meet. Here's where a strap could come in handy if you can't quite get there. You could use your strap. Right hand holds the strap, hangs it. Left hand comes to meet it, then you can kind of scooch the fingers closer together. Pull the elbows apart, pull the belly in. Maybe there's a little bit of spinal extension, but draw your right hip back. Firm through that back leg. You can keep your arms just as they are. Maybe you're just holding left hand to right elbow. The legs are going into eagle with the left leg up and over. So ground through the right foot, set your gaze in front of you, find your belly, take the left leg up and over. So we've got Gomukhasana variations of arms and eagle legs. Keep the arms. Take the left knee forward, just unwinding and you might kick out. We're stepping it back for a high lunge, keeping the arms for now. Just land on the ball of your left foot. Then you can unwind and release the strap. Take your arms over your head. Big inhalation. Meet your hands in front of your heart. Tip the torso forward and rotate this. Left elbow, right thigh. Okay, so establish yourself. Establish your foundation. Rotate. Maybe you fly the arms. Maybe there's some sort of a bind that's asking you to explore it. Even a lot of things you could do there. Good. Awesome, Savannah. Take one more big old breath in. When you release, bring the hands down inside your right foot. Turn all 10 toes to the left. Come into Skandasana. Left knee is bending. So if you like to turn the left toes out a little bit, drop in. Skanda, left knee deeply bent. Now for a moment, you can come into a bind if you wish. Again, you might want the strap. I'm going to put it in my left hand and come to meet that. Or maybe you can reach the fingers around. It's left arm in front of left shin bone. Right arm comes around the small of the back to capture. Maybe strap is a bridge. Roll your right shoulder down and back. Keep lifting out of the left thigh. We're going to release the bind for a moment so you can touch the earth and find balance. Once you have the hands down, I want you to turn this into malasana. So your right foot, the right knee is going to bend and you're going to hop it in. And the reason is, and I'm just going to turn around for the sake of not having my back to you, we're moving into a half-bound garland if you wish, okay? You're coming now into malasana. The left arm in front of the left shin. Maybe you stay here with the right arm reaching. If you're liking the bind, you can bind again, and it can be with a strap. Your right leg is your standing leg. It takes a lot of strength with the right leg. This might be as far as you go. If you want to come a little further with me and try, I'm scooting my right foot so it's under me a little more, and then I'm popping up onto the ball of my left foot. The right leg is the standing leg, so it gets a little counterintuitive. You can start to, if the bind goes away, it's okay. Just maybe let the hands do what they do, but see if you can push off and stand up. Maybe once you're up, you can reconnect the fingers. And I'm opposite you because I was turned around, so right leg is standing. All right, good. When you come out, we're gonna release back down to malasana, unwind the bind. Once you're here, unwinding the bind, come back into skanda. Right leg is long out towards the top of the mat. And then just crawl up to the top of the mat. And you can take any variation of Vasisthasana side plank with the left arm as your base. So it might feel good to set the knee down. Maybe you just want to open up the hip flexor. You can take more of a grounded variation that also binds Chapasana, or you can bind fingers around the right foot and really open up into that big expression. Wherever you end up, perhaps a vinyasa will reset, and then we meet back in Adho Mukha Svanasana. So you can go through Chaturanga. Beautiful, yeah. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Awesome, yes. Take a pause, have some water. That's it, Olivia. Get what you need. And we meet back in down dog, just when you're ready. Take a few breaths there. Directing the mind deep into the center of your experience, the center of yourself. When you're ready, from downward dog, we'll take the left leg into the air. And left foot steps forward. You're in this lunge position with the hands down, setting up for a seated twist. So your right knee is going to tuck in behind your left ankle, or to the outer part of that left ankle. So you're setting up for twist. Bring the hips down, take the arms up, or just one arm if you want. I think this time both arms up feels kind of good. Really ground through the sitting bones. Then the left hand behind you is the right elbow hooks, or you hug the knee. Lift the lower back away from the earth, kind of get that sense of reverb. Shoulders down, heads of shoulders opening, collarbones. Baddha Konasana, we're turning left. So the left foot's going to meet the right foot. When you're ready, you can unwind the twist. Left foot meets the right. Take your arms up. And then bow forward. Heaviness through the sitting bones and the sacral palate, like it's sliding off the back body as you bow forward, and really allow for some space in the hip flexors, psoas, groin, inner thigh area. And then when you come up, lift your torso. We're turning to the left, so you're going to just pick up the right leg and come into that seated twist at the back of the mat now. And maybe both arms up as you fill up. Right hand behind you, left elbow's gonna hook, rotate to the right, soften. Keep lifting upper sternum. Notice the breathing. Turn back in the direction of your right toes. Know that we're going to our standing split, so you can release. Right leg is your standing leg. Find your stability. Push off, left leg goes into the air. Big breath in, left foot's gonna meet the right. Hang your head. And then Utkatasana. Utka is fierce pose. Bend the knees, take your arms up. Perhaps it's the opposite bind or grip when you get your hands behind your back. Driving knuckles over towards the right side waistline. So let all that stuff happen that you build through the shoulders. Shoulder blades down, collarbones broadening, wing the elbows a little bit. Let your right ear fall towards your right shoulder. Pull the belly back. And maybe you can lift your heels up. So let the shaking and wobbling happen as you establish yourself. Bend the knees a little more. You might bring the head back up, set the heels down, left knee forward. Keep the bind of your hands as it is, and then kick your foot out, like really straighten that leg. Take a breath in. Keep the bind of the hands, step back for warrior one legs. Keep the bind of the hands. Once you find yourself, orientation of your hips, firm through the legs, lift the upper sternum, pull that belly back. You got a little bit of maybe your forearm kind of lifting the ribs, and then right ear towards right shoulder. You're breathing, presence of mind, directed. Head comes up. Everything pretty much stays the same but your legs, right? Warrior two in the legs. So for me, I have to kind of widen my stance from warrior one. And then use your right hand to pull the left knuckles a little further around that waistline. Can you find the inner thigh there? Or maybe it's your pants, shirt, something you can grab onto. And take your right arm straight up. So I'm bumping my left hip into the forward hip, into the right hip, just a little, and then reaching straight up. Take an inhale. As you exhale, extended side angle, upper body, reaching the right arm forward, palms still turned up. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Strong legs. And then you start to reverse the warrior and straighten the forward leg. As you pull all the way back, you might draw your toes back towards the shin bone. And it's okay if you lose the bind a little bit. And then Trikonasana, Utthita Trikonasana. It's a little shorter stance, serves me better. I'm gonna keep the bind. Right arm might stay forward for a moment, and then right arm down. Looks good. When you're ready to unwind, so the bound arm can be freed, take it first up to the sky, and then reach it over the head. Straight towards what is now the top of the mat where your right toes are pointing. Yeah, exactly. And then look towards the earth or towards your inner right ankle. You're gonna let your left arm kind of fall towards the earth, just like it's draping across water, and then fold your right toes in, your left toes forward, come all the way up, warrior one at the top of the mat. So just changing that orientation. Gomukhasana arms, so the left hand's gonna meet with the base of the neck or the upper back, left hand, and then you can take the right hand to the elbow. Maybe your fingers meet. Someday mine will again, they're getting close. Straps handy if that feels far away. Elbows pull apart. Establish yourself in warrior one leg, strong through the feet, strong through the legs, strong through the pelvis, the belly, the spine. Maybe there's a little bit of extension for a moment as you come back in your spine. And then coming back upright, if you have any kind of a back bend, find your belly, keep the arms, right leg up and over, Garudasana legs. Gomukhasana arms. And how low does it want to be today? Keep the arms, right knee forward, unwinding the eagle legs. Right leg extends, so kick it out. Step back for lunge, keeping your arms as they are, ball mound lands behind you. Once you get here and you find your legs, release the strap, if you have it, or the arm bind, and take your arms up. Big breath in, hands meet in front of the heart, then tilt the torso forward. Find the oppositions, right heel back, chest forward, crown forward, and then hook and rotate into revolved crescent lunge. Can you lengthen your spine? Yeah, like that. Awesome. Beautiful, Krista. Yeah. Good. Awesome. Some of you, I can just see your legs. Take one more big breath in. As you breathe out and release the hands inside the left foot, start to turn to the right. And then skandasana into your right knee bend. Skanda, lunging, binding. So right arm can come in front of the shin. Left arm can be the length of your left leg, or you can wrap it up. Roll your left shoulder down and back and kind of get here. And then you know where we're going. So if you're not feeling like that standing balance, maybe staying here is good or some other play. I'm going to unwind my hands so I can ground. And then malasana, so I'm bending the left knee in. I'll go back to the bind. This is a half bound garland. The left leg is the standing leg, right? So find the bind if you wish, use the strap. I'm gonna bring my feet a little closer together. The right foot, I come up onto the ball mount like I'm wearing a high heel. Left leg is the standing leg, so you really have to find that strength. Helps me to come out of it a little bit, to really get my butt up. And then push off. Ah. Save it if you start going down. Always unwind the hands if you start to lose that balance. Sweet, yes. When you're ready, come on down. When you're ready, unwind the binds. Left leg goes long, skandasana. And then crawl up towards the top of the mat for our vasishtasana. Side plank, the right arm is the base. Different variations. So last time I had the knee down and I lifted the opposite leg up to bind in Shavasana. You could take peace fingers around the left big toe, coming onto the ninth edge of the right foot, and then picking it up, maybe extending through the leg, or doing what you did on the other side. So pretty, yeah, good, Katie. Awesome. When you're ready and it feels complete, a reset, chaturanga, dandasana, or something that brings you back to down dog or even child's pose. Awesome. Good, Haley. I see that beautiful sky behind you. Good, Dina. And then we'll meet in table pose. From table, drop your belly, lift your tail, come into cow. When you move into cat pose, bring your right knee in towards your nose. So cat pose, you're arching the back up towards the sky. And then can you thread this around? We did this a couple weeks ago in class. Thread the right leg around to come into Gomukhasana. So literally knee into nose, and you're trying to, however you need to get there. If it doesn't work the way that I just showed you, you can set up cow face pose just by seated, coming to seated or something. If you would like to sit on a block, you can bring the block in behind you and have a seat on it. Right leg is up and over. So we did Gomukhasana Supta before, now upright, tall spine. Right arm up, turn the palm to face back behind you and bring it towards the upper back. And then maybe you have some more space now for the cow face arms, left fingers come around to meet the right, or use the strap. Elbows kind of gently pulling away from each other. You can even kind of explore that. How does it feel when you try different things? When you're ready, you can free your arms. Take them up, inhale. As you exhale, table pose, unwind the legs and come onto hands and knees. And then cow pose. So drop the belly, lift the tail, open the heart. Curl your left knee in towards your nose. And then can it scoop around? It doesn't matter if the answer is no, you just find a better way, Maybe that's the worst way. Who's to say? Find your seat either on the earth or on a block. Left leg is up and over, the feet are kind of parting, almost like you're creating a little X there. And then your left arm up with the palm turned away or towards the back. Hand to upper back, left hand to the elbow or strap, or maybe your fingers are meeting. And then explore. Can you perhaps quiet the mind for a moment and even consider alternate nostril play? Just kind of inhaling through the left, exhaling through the right, and then inhaling through the right again, and then you switch. When you feel ready, you can free the bind, drop straps if you're using, take the arms up, fill up. Exhale, table pose, and then child's pose. So once you unwind, settle back into child's pose. Arms are long. Now I'm going to give you an option for child's pose if you want it. You could cross your arms under your heart, so threading them in opposite directions. You bring the arms down and then kind of scoot them in and rest your head on the block. So like a double thread the needle or some play, or just arms forward if you prefer. If you have your arms crossed under the heart, you can come up and switch which one is closer to your chin. And then release it down. It's going to feel a little different, so find the difference. And then when you're ready, we'll all come up and make our way onto the back body. So come up, free your legs forward. Bring your body down and rest back. When there is so much happening, what are the things that we can do? What are the tools that we can draw from? What are the touchstones for us? You can tuck yourself into Fido Shavasana if you want to hug the knees in, or take a little supine twist, or legs up the wall, or a little bridge, or something. The things that we can offer to ourselves to get quiet, so that we can actually hear ourselves and each other. To notice where we have blind spots. To educate ourselves, to look to truths that we know to be true for ourselves. Whether that be people, our teachers, our mentors, our friends, our family, the people that we hold close to us that offer us sound reflections. Let go of any breath regulation, but as best you can, stay connected to all that is present for you. Just be witness. And start to create a deliberate cadence of your breath. Where you're starting to decide the pace more intentionally. Follow that pace. And then if your legs are long out from the hip joints, just kind of wave your feet in the space that they're in so they kind of go side to side, and you can feel the connection that your legs have to the hip joints and the pelvis. Maybe curl your toes in and even start to move your arms a little bit, waving your hands a little side to side, and curl the fingers in, just kind of feeling extremities to the trunk. And whenever you feel ready, you can kind of get in a little ball off to one side and just kind of curl everything in towards center, and then come up to a seated position, just rising up. And take the arms to stretch them up towards the sky. Take a big breath in, and as you breathe out, just meet the hands and have them draw down in front of the heart space. Thank you so much for practicing, coming together, being here in the present moment. I bow to you. Namaste.